You think you're free. But what if even that thought was planted? We were taught that we can choose our own destiny, that we have equal rights, that our voice matters. At the heart of the modern world lies an unquestionable, sacred system, democracy. We praise it, we fight for it, we even export it. But what if it's an illusion? What if democracy isn't the guarantee of freedom, but just a more elegant, quieter cage? With every tweet you send, every protest you join, or every vote you cast. Maybe you are merely an actor in an invisible theater directed by an algorithm. Think about it. Maybe the vote you cast was just a choice for a more beautiful chain. This isn't a modern conspiracy theory. This is a 2,400-year-old warning from one of the founders of Western philosophy, Plato. He saw democracy not as a solution, but as the starting point on the road to tyranny. He was the first to realize that the seeds of tyranny grow in the most fertile soil of freedom. He warned us. But we didn't listen. Perhaps we didn't want to hear. This video is not just a critique of democracy. This is a ruthless mirror held up to our own modern world. We will delve into the depths of Plato's masterpiece, the Republic, using his ancient diagnosis to X-ray our world today. We will explore his terrifying prediction that democracies are doomed to decay into tyranny, and we will confront his chilling solution, the Philosopher King. By the end of this journey, you will never look at an election, a protest, or your own political beliefs the same way again. Before we dive into Plato's critique, let's be fair. The democratic ideal is beautiful. The idea that every citizen has a voice. The notion that leaders are accountable to the people. These are powerful and noble concepts. It is the shining city on a hill that humanity has strived towards for centuries. Plato was aware of this appeal, but he believed it was a beautiful illusion, a seductive trap. To understand why, we must enter his most famous story, Plato's Allegory of the Cave. But perhaps you've never heard it this way. It sounds dramatic, I know, but think about it. In the modern world, how many people are left who truly see reality? Plato asks you for a moment to become a prisoner. You have been in a dark cave since birth. You are chained. All you can see is the cold, blank wall in front of you. Behind you, a fire burns, and between the fire and you, puppeteers walk back and forth, holding up objects that cast shadows on the wall. For you, these flickering shadows are not representations of reality. They are reality. Now ask yourself, what is your cave? Which shadows flicker on your wall? One day, imagine you are freed from your chains. You are forced to turn around. For the first time, you see the fire and the puppets. The light hurts your eyes. The truth is painful. The puppeteers, the politicians, the media pundits, the influencers, they are the architects of your reality. If you are then dragged out of the cave into the blinding sun of the real world, you will see true objects, true knowledge, for the first time, and you will understand that you have spent your entire life debating illusions. And in that moment, the prisoner meets perhaps the most dangerous desire, the desire to return. The truth of the sun is blinding. The darkness of the cave, however, is familiar. It's comfortable. In that false world full of shadows, at least things were certain. The pain of facing reality can sometimes feel heavier than the comfort of the most beautiful lie. For many, returning to the chains is easier than standing alone under the sun. According to Plato, we, the citizens of a democracy, are the prisoners in that cave. So what are the shadows on the wall? The daily news, viral tweets, political debates, carefully crafted public opinion. We are masters of debating these shadows. But outside the cave, there is reality itself, and not once have we truly seen it. According to Plato, democracy makes a big mistake, a fatal one. The goal of a state is not just freedom, it is true justice. But democracy prioritizes freedom over wisdom. It dangerously assumes that all opinions are created equal. The opinion of a brilliant economist on the economy has one vote. So does the opinion of someone who has never read an economics book. The opinion of a seasoned diplomat is valued the same as that of a celebrity. Do you think this is freedom or madness? For Plato, the answer was clear. This is like letting the passengers vote on the correct flight path of an airplane while the pilot's opinions is just one among many. The end of this system is not wisdom, but chaos. And chaos always seeks a master. This leads us to Plato's most devastating metaphor for democracy, the ship of state. Imagine a ship at sea. It has no captain, only an owner, the people. The owner is large and powerful, but his hearing is poor and his sight is not much better. On the ship, there is a crew, the sailors, that is, the politicians. They are all quarreling over who should be captain. None of them have any real knowledge of navigation. They don't understand the stars, the winds, or the currents. Instead, they try to persuade or trick the owner into giving them control of the helm. They praise anyone who is clever at winning the owner's favor, calling them a true navigator. Here, Plato asks, as if with a wink, "To whom would you entrust the ship? The one who speaks most beautifully, the one who shouts the loudest, or the one who can read a compass?" For 2,400 years, our answer to this question has not been very encouraging. Because meanwhile, there is one person on the ship who has actually studied the art of navigation. But the others mock him. They call him a useless stargazer. Does this story sound familiar to you? In a democracy, we don't choose the most competent leader. We choose the most persuasive one. In short, democracy is the art of choosing the best liar. Politicians, instead of being guides to the truth, become slaves to public opinion, to the shadows on the cave wall. Plato saw this long ago, and yes, this part is truly terrifying, because he foresaw that this was the beginning of a horrific and inevitable decay. In his masterpiece, The Republic, he answers the question of why democracy fails. States, just like people, lose their character and become corrupt over time. It all begins with an honorable government. But when the love of honor is replaced by the love of money, the state decays into an oligarchy ruled by the rich. According to Plato, this rule of the rich sows the seeds of its own destruction. The state is divided in two, the rich and the poor, two separate states living in the same city, hostile to one another. The rich are corrupted by the luxury that money brings. The poor, in the face of this waste they see every day, are filled with resentment and envy. Justice is forgotten. The value of everything is measured in money. This atmosphere of resentment and injustice is the spark that ignites the fire of democracy. When the poor realize they are superior in number, rebellion becomes inevitable. In this new democracy, freedom is the highest good, but this becomes an excess of freedom. Anarchy. Everyone is equal, every desire is legitimate. The entire society becomes drunk on the wine of absolute liberty. So, what is the fate of a drunken society? A terrible hangover. The people, tired of the exhausting chaos they created, begin to beg for a strong leader to restore order. And in that moment, the tyrant appears. He presents himself as the champion of the people. He promises to restore order, to punish the elites. The people, so desperate for stability, hand him their freedom. And once he has total power, the people's champion reveals his true face. He becomes a wolf among sheep. The democracy is dead. The most dangerous tyrant doesn't wear a crown. He smiles through the ballot box. According to Plato, the people have only themselves to blame. But that was 2,400 years ago, you might say. We are not ancient Athens. I thought so too at first. He must be exaggerating. But then I opened the news. I spent 5 minutes on social media, and I saw that Plato frighteningly, was right. Let's examine the symptoms of our own polite dictatorship and forms of modern tyranny. Symptom 1. The tyranny of the majority. Today, this tyranny is digital. Under the name of cancel culture, a digital mob can destroy a person's reputation and livelihood overnight for expressing an unpopular opinion. Did you say something different? They don't debate you, they just silence you, deplatform you. Symptom 2. The dictatorship of public opinion. Our politicians, the supposed captains of our ship, are often slaves to the latest polls and social media trends. Long-term, wise policy is sacrificed for short-term populist gains that will generate likes and retweets. The politicians are no longer trying to persuade the people. They are desperately trying to please an algorithm that rewards outrage and division over wisdom and unity. Symptom 3. The return of the sophists. The sophists in ancient Greece were teachers of rhetoric who cared more for persuasion than for truth. Who are our modern sophists? Think about it. The news pundits who spin narratives for ratings, the influencers who sell ideologies for clicks, the PR firms and lobbyists who craft public opinion to serve corporate and political interests. They are the masters of the shadows on our cave wall, and we pay them with our attention. Their job is not to find the truth, but to shape your truth. We may not have a single dictator in a military uniform. Perhaps today's chains don't clink, they glow, they scroll endlessly, and we wear them willingly. We are free, but our choices are often manipulated by forces we don't even see. So, what was Plato's solution to this inevitable decay? Who is the Philosopher King? This is perhaps the most controversial part of his philosophy. His cure for the sickness of democracy was radical surgery, to get rid of it entirely. He proposed an ideal state ruled not by the many, but by the wise. A state governed by philosopher kings. So what makes these kings philosophers? According to Plato, they are the ones who have left the cave and seen not just the real objects, but the perfect, unchanging ideas or forms behind those objects. Forms aren't just ideas. They are the universe's original blueprints, timeless, perfect, and more real than anything we see. For them, justice or goodness are not mere opinions, but truths at the foundation of the universe, like a mathematical certainty. This is why their rule is not based on personal desire or popular opinion, but on truth itself. This dictatorship of the wise that Plato presents is therefore internally consistent, but for us, just as alien and frightening. Let's be honest, this idea is terrifying to us. Elitist, anti-democratic, totalitarian. That was my first reaction too. Who would want to give someone that much absolute power? But this is precisely Plato's trap. He presents us with a diagnosis of a disease so devastating that the cure he offers feels at least as frightening as the disease itself. And here we are, caught in Plato's ultimate trap. He has shown us a devastating diagnosis. Our cherished democracy, with its excessive freedom, contains the seeds of its own destruction. Yet his proposed cure, a dictatorship of the wise, seems just as bad, if not worse. So, what are we left with? If Plato is right, are we doomed to choose between a foolish freedom and a wise prison? This is the uncomfortable question Plato leaves us with. Our world is built on the ideal of democracy, but we have never truly escaped the shadow of his warning. The ship of state is ours to steer, the sailors are quarreling, and a storm is always on the horizon. The final, terrifying question isn't about the politicians. It's about whether you trust the other prisoners in the cave. And yourself? Plato's question has remained unanswered to this day. Perhaps now, it is up to you to answer it. So tell us, would you rather live in a beautiful illusion or wake up to a truth that hurts? Your answer might say more about our future than you think.